Hey, baby, I was doing a very quick update for you. We are pretty far along the Bitcoin and crypto cycle if you're looking at this data here. Now, what is this data? It's called days destroyed, pretty much. So what happens is if you hold a coin for 300 days and then you sell, when you sell, you destroyed 300 days worth of holding. And if someone's a paper hand, they buy it for 1 day and they sell it the next day, they only destroy 1 day pretty much, you see? So if you hold long, you start ranking up your queue in terms of like how many days you've saved up your hold. So when you finally relinquish it, it's worth a lot of power. Now, what's interesting is when you chart this on basically Bitcoin, friends, you can see these big red spikes and you're like, oh my gosh, whenever the long-term people dump, it is towards the ends of the cycle, okay? So I want to show you this. So in 2013, they dumped literally at the highs. In the end of 2013, so it was a double bubble, they dumped at the high. Now, in this 2017, friends, it gets a bit tricky because when they first dumped, it was halfway in the year. So we still had about 6 months to go. When we did this one, it was about, 4 or 5 months, and then this one was at the top. So when the red first appears, you have 6 months to go. In 2021, this was F2 pool, the Chinese whale scum or F2 fish scum. They dumped and it was pretty much over beyond that point. But if you're looking closely, friends, they actually dumped around Elon Musk right before Elon Musk gets in. Then Elon Musk gets in and then we shoot it up. Okay, interesting, right? Very interesting. Look where they dump. Look where we are today now. We are also deep red. So I'm just showing you this data because it doesn't mean anything. A lot of people kind of said, well, Grayscale are a big contributing factor of this. And it's true because Grayscale's Bitcoin, friends, have been locked up in there for a very, very long time. So it could be a lot of the Grayscale from 2013 or all the people trapped for that long amount of time, they're just getting out. So I know it's tough with these data. You're like, man, I just want an answer. Just give me the answer. I know there is no proper answer, friends. That's why these things, only in hindsight, can you look back and say, oh, I was drinking apple juice instead of orange juice. You see, it's just not so easy. Let's play some nice angel music just so everybody's on par with that. Wearing my yellow Pikachu hat. Make sure you like, subscribe. Look, when you're following this, friends, and I do appreciate every single one of your subs, please continue to just remember that this data is going to come out and it's going to always show you stuff that spooks you every single time. This one's actually pretty spooky though to me because it's kind of like, well, man. Doesn't mean it's over yet, okay? It doesn't mean it's over. What's coming next? Okay, we have, this is, friends, what I'm about to show you, this is I found this from BCB as well. Friends, around here, this part here where we are right now? You see that part, friends? See that part? That chart pattern, all right, that chart pattern is actually right here at the bottom. That's spooky. Now, what's most interesting is that chart pattern is the fractal on the bottom, and today's chart pattern is this one right here. So isn't that a bit spooky, friends, how we have 2 points where large numbers of days have been destroyed, which is the red spikes, and we have similar price structures. You see this? There's a top and there's a top. And then we've had the first FUD. And now we might even have like a bottom FUD, friends. We might even have like, oh no, we're going to like do the bottom and out. And then we're going to roll it up and it's going to continue. That's a bit spooky, man, isn't it? It's like, wait a minute. All these years later, 7, 8 years later, a large number of days have been sold onto the market. And we get a very similar pricing structure, which is just a fractal of that. By the way, look how similar this stuff is, by the way. You have this higher low, and then you have the failed high part. That's crazy, right? This is crazy how similar they are. They're like so similar. Look at this part. See these parts? Similar. Now we're on that part. So just processing it. If we continue, it means that end of times is coming. But look around you. I don't feel weak because, friends, we know how schizo we are right now. And we're looking around. And we're like, we're scared it's all going to crash, but there's no weak hands with us that makes us concerned, is there? I'm not concerned. Are you? You're like, okay, the price can go down. Someone skits out. But you're like, you know what? You're not that weak. You're pretty strong if you're holding here. Remember, my friends, I've told you many times, the most important thing is to think about who you're holding with. It's not what's going on out in the world. It's like, okay, who's in with me now? Can I trust them? Like, for example, if Landwolf drops 50%, you know I'm going to be making videos. I'm like, okay, you got cheaper. I'm not buying the scam one. The other rug scam one, 615, the Divine Plan. Just an example. If Dick with Butt, friends, if Dick with Butt drops, just showing you, you know, I'm not going anywhere. Keep dropping it. I dare you to. You know what I mean? Like, keep dropping it. I don't care. By the way, they're not dropping it. You can see by the chart, okay? Everyone knows. Strong. You see this? But that's because our valuations are low. Okay? Now, if Dick with Butt was at 200 million market cap, I would be sweating because I'm like, uh-oh. I know we're strong at 5 million. I knew we had strong people at 10 million. I knew we had strong people at 20 million, but I don't know who's strong at 200 million. And what I mean by strong, they've come in, they say they're convicted, but are they strong as in if we drop 75%, are they going to be here or are they going to come at me for a throat? That's what we're trying to assess. So even though we see the Bitcoin fractal here, friends, it's interesting also to add, you know, do not cheat the Bitcoin low if we get down there. What's the pre-programmed FUD going to be? Will it be the Ethereum ETF rejection or something else? Fake news. So this type of stuff, friends, you already know, like this is easy. This is a walk in the park. Like, oh, okay, little FUD to make a squeeze down and squeeze up. We don't care about that. We care about the big euphoria one, the multi-cycle one. So ultimately, yeah, once again, we come back to the point where, I mean, all you can look at things is like this. You go, hey, the Russell 2000, you are not in an expansion yet. Why aren't you higher? You need to be higher, right? It's making you question just some things going on. Stock market, you are high, which is very, very great for our bull market. We have the Slingshot, friends. I'll show you the Slingshot right now. You are moving in tandem, which is actually really good. That's what you want to see, you're moving in tandem. But what about the next few months, friends? Because if that fractal plays out, it could mean in the next few months, friends, right? So it could be over in this part. It literally be Bitcoin goes like this, and then this thing goes up like that, and then Bitcoin comes back, does a lower high, and then this thing actually shoots up more. That could be it, friends, and it's all over by the end of this year. Very, very, very possible. I don't know. All right. You also notice the theme with my things. Friends, you don't know. We don't know. I'm not going to claim to know. I have no idea. I'm just telling you, fractal seem the way it's... If it keeps repeating like this, the left translated cycle part continues. But it's just strange because 30% of us, 35% of people believe in the left translated cycle now. But what's the weak point? The weak point, friends, I went through this, but I just want to show you what the weak point is. Let's actually go to the Bitcoin weekly charts for the weak point. Actually, you can also look at as well the total crypto market cap, friends. That's another way to look at it. So what everybody expects is like 35% of people expect left translated cycle. We just go up like that. All right, that's literally what they expect. I'm not joking, and it's all over. That's 5 trillion market cap, okay? That's what everyone expects. What if we go up and then we stop and then we bleed out for 9 to 12 months and then we actually continue in 2020, at the end of 2025 and then into 2026? That, my friends, is a super cycle. It's just that the prices are not what you would think a super cycle is, but the time we are running is a super cycle length because we don't get a standard 4-year cycle. To use the word super, you think, wow, I get super profitable, super rich. I don't know. I hope so. So I'm just showing you right now. That's pretty much what it is, friends. The crowd expects, all right, either left translated or a 4-year cycle like that. What if we get like this, we screw around, and then, friends, you know, if we are dropping at the end of next year, everyone's out, by the way. You see this part? Everybody's out. Your mom, your dad, your squirrels, your pups, your ducks, everyone. I'm telling you, everyone's out. Everyone's gone. Because they say, well, 4-year cycle doesn't work anymore. Crypto is trash. There are no fundamentals. I'm out. Also, to remind you that this might coincide with macroeconomics looking pretty bad. Maybe they got to hike rates again. Maybe inflation sucks. Maybe there is some pre-programmed banning self-custody FUD. Maybe fake alien invasion. I don't know what it is. So something's going to go on. You're like, oh, here comes the movie. They're pressing play again. And that might be the giant rinsing of our time. And then, but we just know, friends, like, hey, crypto should be going higher. And eventually it does. Just in a nutshell, we can actually organize this into two pathways, really. It's if they make us blow our load now, no one really gets rich except a few people who just bail out early, really early. But if that happens too, okay, it's probably not going to happen. We probably won't like climax enough to do that. I hope we do, but we might not. But the best case for all of us, which sucks, is we get like a semi-climax, which is we move up and everyone thinks left translated. And then, we actually did. Now we're in 2025, friends. We try again. We drop again. You see that? But then we actually start moving up at the end of the year. And now 2026 is a great year. Okay? Maybe even 2027. Add that on. You never know, friends. Maybe 2026 is a great year. And then 2027, which is here, like blows off. Right? What if we get something like that? What I'm actually doing, friends, is I've drawn what no one expects. I've done my best to be very honest about it. What no one expects is, okay, in all of our scenarios, it's, okay, the left translators here, friends, when people say left translated, what they really mean is Bitcoin goes to $180,000 and this thing goes absolutely moonshot in the next 3 months. Maybe. I hope so. What about the scenario, though, where Bitcoin, I know this is crazy. Let's actually check the chart, friends. This is it. Okay, what about, is anybody prepared for, what we've ever been talking about? Friends, you saw the surveys, man. I don't know if you guys have been seeing, like, everybody is, like, so cocky. They're like, Bitcoin, $100,000, 100% programmed. You're an idiot if you don't think so. And I'm like, I've heard that before. I don't know. I hope you're right, friends. But I'm just saying, what if we can't hit 100 this year? All right, what if it stops at like 80? And then everyone's turbo long, expecting the next part to go up. And then this alt season with Bitcoin comes back down because of the stock market. And then we have to recover up into next year. What if that happens, friends? And then next year, everyone's expecting to be okay. We rinse again. And they're like, oh, no, can we finally go up? But if we get this scenario, friends, if we get that scenario where 2025 is red until the very last 4 or 5 months of the year, we might have a great 2026 and then actual blow off 2027, right? We might actually have that. What I've just drawn for you is a world where everybody is wrong, all right? Without sending us all to zero. That's what I've just drawn, that world. Everyone's wrong. From the odds, friends, odds. Left translated, 4-year cycle. They have the most odds. That's the most probability of what everyone expects. No one expects extended cycle. No one. I hate to say it. That's why I expected extended cycle. But I'm not using the word super cycle because super cycle implies you get a $30,000 ETH in like 2 weeks or whatever. No. I'm thinking more like we do well enough to recover. Then we have to do this giant cup formation. And then we rinse out and then we actually continue. Interesting, right? Because you just got to think about what I'm actually drawing in this scenario. In 2025, next year, traditionally, 3 out of 3 times, that is the selling year for the insiders. That's the year they sell. That's the year they click sell and walk away. If we got that scenario I just drew for you, all right, that would be a buying year next year. Buying means we're bleeding. Never been done before, ever. It's always been a green year, the year after the Bitcoin halving. So if we got that, then you and I are going to be ready. And obviously, I want everything just pumped to the moon so we can just get the fuck out. But it's not up to us, not up to us. We've got very big valuations that are starting to move up. I know there's a lot of money printing and everything's going up and everything's fine. But the only way for this to play out is if we don't go too euphoric. If we go too euphoric, then a minus 60% crash, minus 70% crash is not enough to rinse them out. You need another full 95%. That's why it's going to be very controversial. But not really. You're going to have me, I'll be holding your hand along the way, saying like, look, man, I know we're in maybe a poopy period later on. Okay, but we never went euphoric. So we've got a floor here. It's just that we need people to get out. So what I'm doing is, friends, helping you navigate what happens next in this fractal and what can play out, because I know, like, I just showing you data of end of times. What if something appears now? Like, yeah, hasn't appeared yet. There might be a big altcoin narrative, friends. What if, like, they get the Ethereum ETF and then they fire Gary Gensler and then Donald Trump gets in or something? You know what I mean? Like, stuff that the market loves. We're ready for that. But it could be the timeline where we don't get that. So at the end of the day, remember, buying low is most important, because if we're buying low, we get to hold through any turbulence because we know we're in from lower. Everybody else who's thinking they're a genius playing the momentum, they're the ones who are going to suffer. They're the ones who are going to get rinsed out hard. Make sure you like, subscribe, bell button, or catch you soon.